and welcome to our third and final round of Jeskai Control tonight. Being on the draw is kind of a beat with all these 3-cost spells, but Magma Spray does make up for that a little bit. Lifecrafters best here is one I have to remember. It's a pretty good one. Okay. It's got this. It's got lands. Let's beat up on some deck and hope they're not martyring us. Ooh, I have Amonkhet lands on my deck? That's great. Oh, they're martyring us. Okay. That was kind of required if I was going to win this game. So. Okay. That's a little bad for us. That land, though, does imply that their hand's going to get a little awkward at some points. Is another Scrounger? Because that would be bad for me. Ballista. Sure. I'm going to use Glare this turn. This could end horribly. I'm going to not care about taking one off this Ballista, I think. Even though it's 3/3 and 3/9, it's awkward, but we'll get out of this. Sure. I'll take the extra damage for all I care. If there's a slight chance that you don't play a Gideon because of my sequencing, that's all I care about. And I want to give I think I want to give as little info as possible at my hand that turn, and playing the hub over revealing the extra card off the Port Town doesn't hurt me. From 5 life, this game gets tricky to navigate, though. This card is quite bad. And the moment of truth. Oh, I'm dead. Wait, what? Why are they paying a energy instead of a life? Yeah, I'm dead. I'm so dead. Yeah, I'm dead. Nothing I can do. Guess technically I should have waited. Oh, wow, those are bad. Yeah, that's not cast out plus Magma Spray. So I am super dead. Great job, Essen Scatter. Fighting the good fight against this card. Well, that's kind of how this goes. You just do not draw your answer to Gideon, therefore you die to Gideon. I would not have Essen Scattered that, so doesn't matter. Look at all these cards I die with. Okay, next game. Let's get some answers in here. Linvala, you are perfect for this. That's great for this. I want another negate. I want Avacyn's. I want Forsake. I think Pull is not very good. I think that I don't want Disallow in basically any way, shape, or form. I don't want Essence Scatter. I kind of like Censor because it fights Gideon early. And Immolating Glare technically does stuff, and this is 61. I think I have one too many big idiots. I think I just need every card that actually impacts the board, and I can't play Pull. 1, 2, 3, 4. This looks okay. Oh, I need this. I'm going to cut a Censor. That card gets dead fast here. I still want 2 Censors over negates because they do stuff. But, like, it's really just like, if you have too many negates, you can just get stuck with negates facing down cards that negate doesn't answer. I don't want Nahiri. I think that that card is just too sketchy, especially because it doesn't exile Heart of Kirin. This looks okay. It's about as good as it gets, right? That was a problem game. Did not have the right answers. Mardu really forces you to have the right answers in the right time span, otherwise you just immediately die. I would like to play first. Okay. This works for me. I'm going to play Port Town on 1. I don't want to Magna Spray the 1-drop my opponent plays. There we go. That's exactly what I wanted to spray. Interesting. Oh my gosh, that was a horrible mistake. Oh, I was thinking that this was an untapped land in general. Just had a brain fart. That should have been the other land. It's potentially going to cost me a turn if I top deck a basic. If I don't top deck a basic, it's basically the same thing. Thalia. Sure. That's a perfect card to harness lightning. And I'm just harnessing it for tempo reasons. I just need to kill everything up the curve. Also, conveniently, that leaves me with a floating mana to cast a later harness. Okay, I did not get punished for my misclick last turn. Which is pretty lucky. I would have kept Censor in my hand for a turn anyways. Nope. Try again. I get to exchange what is basically a random spell for my library for Gideon, which is about as good as could ever get. Unfortunately, we have so many answers lined up that I think we're okay. So my opponent has an Avacyn, which really doesn't bother me at all. As if I hit an untapped land, I'm able to glare the Avacyn with a counter up. So those look like an excellent set of cards for me to draw. This hedges me against a Scrounger. Yeah, please cast your Avacyn. Go ahead. So like this hedges me against one of the worst cards possible for my opponent to have. And then the land is what's required to have this up to protect against whatever follow-up. Toolcraft. Okay. I'm fine expending this here. I'm fine cast outing the Angel. Because Nahiri's in my opponent's deck, I would prefer to cast out the Angel over a Planeswalker if I have all these extra answers, because the effect of my opponent having an Angel is pretty marginal. I feel like a random card is better than my 6 mana here, so I'm just going to pass and cycle this if they do nothing. Yeah, that's getting glared. The reason for that getting glared is that I'm going to have to kill it with something at some point. And this is just a very convenient time for me to spend mana. Not the best card to draw, but it's fine. I have a Glimmer in graveyard, correct? Yep. Okay, this game, if I hit a land in a reasonable time and I don't just get like runnered, I should be good. Yeah, this game should be locked up. Okay. That's not the turn to go for it, then I don't know when is. They're probably trying to like disrupt my Gear Hulk turn or something. I don't know. Scrounger. Let's shatter that. Because I have the negate back, there's no 2 Planeswalkers my opponent's going to cast from hand this turn that scare me. And now I just have Gear Hulk to flash back a counter if I need to. Yeah, you're dead too. Yeah, now this game should be completely wrapped up. If my opponent has a threat, I counter it. If they don't have a threat, draw 2 cards. Cool. We have survived the onslaught. At 20 life, nonetheless. Those are just bad. Again, I'll make the reminder that cycling lands are not cards you leave on top of the scry if you're going to cycle them. Yeah, that's fine. I did not need that Gear Hulk. And I'm in a spot where I don't have a ton of action, so I want to be able to close this game as fast as possible. And this... I guess I lose my thing to an Avacyn, but that's not the end of the world. Sure. That's fine. That Avacyn will die. If this got through, I'd be able to connect for 4 and then 8 and 8 over the next 2 turns if I drew nothing, which puts my opponent on a pretty solid clock. I believe they call that everything lining up perfectly there. Okay. And back to my original plan of beating my opponent to death with a random land. This time with a safety valve. No reason to stop attacking here. My opponent has 3 Avacens, then whatever. They have a kill spell, whatever. Yeah, they probably just drew like a land or something stupid. Yep. And I have the backup answer, so I'm just going to throw away this forsake. Yep, okay. Now we officially have a game ended. Let's count mana. 4, 3, 5. That would be the fumarole. I like just pressuring here. Even though it's like slightly tempo inefficient if I have to counterspell next turn, I can always take next turn off and then Glimmer. Okay, cool. I guess if my opponent had a threat and then they top decked another threat, I could have put myself into an awkward position there. I would have 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, maybe I should have just waited. Yeah, I should have waited a turn. The logic being if they were sandbagging a threat and then drew another threat, they could go like first threat, I counter, second threat, and that to like I'm on the back foot. Whereas if I just leave up Glimmer and that, I can counter and then Glimmer into another action spell. But it all resolved itself. I think I want to cut a glare on the draw. I think I just get too far out of position if I have all those. And I think, no, Sensor is worse on the draw, actually. Cutting glare makes me so bad against Avacyn. I need the negate on the draw. I have to fight Gideon somehow. I guess I could have a disallow. 4th actual counter. I don't mind that. Okay, this hand won't die to Gideon. It'll die to other stuff, but... Okay. This hand's pretty safe, actually. This hand is now beyond safe. The punish for this hand was specifically me drawing a bunch of lands and my opponent having an aggressive start, of which neither of those things happened. Okay. Well, we are going to play Ether Hub so that we can kill Heart of Kiran with Harness Lightning. I'm clicking my counter spell so fast. Oh. Well, I'm going to kill that with Harness Lightning instead. Oh, also conveniently, this was, yeah, the Port Town mana, but whatever. I don't think I want a farmland here. I do kind of think the energy is relevant, and I have 6 untapped lands now, so I don't really care about the Port Town. So I'm going to play the Plane so I don't have to use an energy if I have to cast out something. If my opponent plays Nahiri, I think I cast out it. Transgress. Probably just Void Shatter that. Yeah, my Gear Hulk here is just too good. Wow. Well, mild punish there. I'll play the Port down tapped. It's not even really a punish. I'd use all my mana, and yeah, it doesn't even change anything. Thalia. Okay. I think I just take 4. Yeah, I take 4 because I have to play an untapped land next turn for the Gear Hulk, and all my lands don't do that. Great. Okay, and my opponent can't possibly have the disenchant, so this ends perfectly fine for me. That was a pretty essential draw. I needed like some backup answer to a specific planeswalker. I don't have a Glimmer, so this Hulk, the best thing it can do is flashback a kill spell. It can flashback Harness. I don't really care about the Raven Inspector. My opponent's debating if they're supposed to animate Shambling Vent and then Heart of Cure on me. I actually think if they just attack with Shambling Vent, that's better than Heart of Curing me. Because now I actually get to eat the relevant permanent on the battlefield. And they just have a bunch of stupid Shambling Vents. I guess technically now I could get Avacyn, and it's a little obnoxious if I draw nothing. Well, that was a conditional that is no longer a concern. I like attacking with Gear Hulk here to bait a Nahiri into my negate. I also like attacking because that baits an animate of the Shambling Vent. Like, that's the problem with attacking would be like, getting animate Shambling Vent attacked. But I'm just going to kill that. Okay, well, that's not happening. There's 0% chance Gideon's resolving. Yeah, trying to play around all the things this deck does, it doesn't end well. It's like you have you have to exploit the glimpse turns more than anything. Because, like, playing around their counters, you're just going to die. Like, you just, like, it's like trying to play around Cryptic. I'm dating myself. Anyways, if you just wait, I will hit Gear Hulk and you will lose the game. It does not get better with time for you most of the time. You have to exploit specific turns I'm trying to use my mana to get anywhere. Yeah, just brawls. Is this going to be a chump block? Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, good. I pressed the F3 button in fast enough time. Let's cast Win the Game. If my Gear Hulk dies, it dies for all I care. Interesting. It's actually really interesting. I don't think I want either of those. I don't think they do enough. Okay, well, that is just the best ever. We have 8 lands in play. We're going to have a 9th land come into play tapped because we don't have enough basics. Okay. Well, we put a harness on the bottom before, so let's just keep doing that. I kind of want to cycle this main phase. If I draw Linvala, I just break. Oh, well, that's basically the same thing. So I'm going to play this. Next turn I have this untapped. Even if I draw Port Town, I can play that or play the Port Town, revealing that. Sure, I have Void Shatter in graveyard, not disallow. I go down to 5 if my opponent, oh, they sack their artifacts, so they can't deal 3 to me. There we go. I was thinking about going down to 5 being, it's pretty safe, even if my opponent has a second, whatever it's called, second Disintegrate. Sorin, Lord of Get Out of Here. Lord of Innistrad was actually the first one, not that one. I will negate that. The cycling gives this deck like just enough fluidity so that there's like, unless you exploit it early, there's no like, occasionally there were these gap turns that could happen in the mid game where like you just miss an answer and die, and that just doesn't happen anymore. Probably time to turn up the, oh, nope, that doesn't work. I like it. Hopefully that's not an Ahiri to follow up, though. That would be the most obnoxious thing possible. I guess I'd handle an Ahiri fairly well. Oh, it's just lose the game as the follow-up. Perfect. And there's no need for me to do anything. Unless I have Avacyn. Sure. This is all fine by me. They don't have Avacyn. Well then, I'm just going to play this and not reveal. I don't need the mana this turn, and I don't want to expose the fact that I have like another land in my hand. I don't know. It shouldn't affect my opponent's decisions, but it could. Their last card's probably like a total brick, probably a land. And yeah, now is the turn that we start full on aggroing. Specifically this turn, our opponent can't just like Avacyn on the block. And also the second Fumarole off the top puts us in a spot where we have like basically locked lethal next turn. Yeah. Trying to think what could possibly go wrong here. Nothing. Concession. That's what could go wrong. Sweet. That was a solid 3-0 despite a shaky game 1. We exploited some bad draws out of Mardu there. And that's, well, I guess the second game we just had everything up the curve and they couldn't win. So, not draw versus our draw exploits their bad draws. I think it's like a, what's the best way to describe it? So when we have a good draw, so their good draws are just going to crush us. Our good draws are going to crush them like when they have the initiative. But if we stumble a little, I think our draws play a little better. Like our medium draws beat their like medium plus draws because of the way our removal lines up. Whereas like their medium plus draws are just so much worse because it gives us time to set up and win the game.